Welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about hiring a team for a salon. I've been in the business for over 5 years and I went through so many different stages, from hiring whoever comes through my door to finally hiring the best candidates for the position that is open. And I'm so happy that finally I have a manager who I delegated a huge portion of the hiring process. Please welcome my very special guest, Marta.
Hello.
Marta is a manager at both salons of Banana Nails in Chicago here. And thank you, first of all, so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
The first question that comes to my mind when we're hiring for a salon team, like we hire nail techs and we hire receptionists. Do you feel there is any difference in like the interviews, the whole process, the looking for the candidates?
The process is very similar. For nail techs, they just need to curate their resume a little bit more, talking more about just specifically nail technician experience or salon experience in general, just because we are looking to see how experienced they are as a nail technician.
Yeah.
And that's what we're interested in, what we're looking for when we are hiring. For reception, you can be a little bit more broad. You can talk about customer service. You can talk about organization, childcare, even. Like a lot of those like qualities turn over to reception.
Absolutely.
So in that case, they're a little bit different, but overall, the process, I would say they're very similar. We require the resume. With technicians, we also want to see photos of their work, just so we can see how they do their work. At the interview, we also will ask the technician to demo live for us. It's usually a very short demo, and it's just so we can see how they work and the overall result in person as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because they can send a picture of someone else's work.
Yeah, that too. But I hope that's never happened. I never even thought about that.
I mean, technically they can.
Yeah, in theory.
Do you think that would be enough to just send a DM on like Instagram? Because, you know, some people do that. They send the Instagram DM like, hey, I want to work at your company. They don't even specify what they want, what they're applying for.
Yes, so that's the problem. I think it's okay to DM as long as you are properly introducing yourself and kind of like asking for information or asking how you can apply for the position. In that case, like you're inquiring about the role, the open position. But if you're just saying, oh, can I work here or something like that, you're not even introducing yourself. You're not even saying hello. It's not very professional, and it kind of gives the wrong idea to the person who's hiring you.
I know. I especially love those DMs or even emails, and they'd be very professional from like SMM managers, social media managers, when they say, oh, you know, I checked out your profile and you need to add a little bit more of yellow because you're a banana. And I'm like, do you know the trends or something? Or people who are coming into offering me something and straight up, everything is trash. I'll do better for you. Will you?
Yeah, but the confidence is good, right? Yeah. And they're also kind of telling you what they can do for you. So that's like a good intro in theory. It's just not what we're looking for, right?
You're right. Like you have to you kind of have to know how to approach, because for a person like me, when someone starts the conversation saying that my content is trash, I'm not gonna even read through it.
100%. That's definitely like a bad starting point, but they do talk about like what they can do for you, which is a good point. It's just they're starting off in a bad area.
They're gonna have to flip it.
Yeah.
First, maybe say what you can offer.
Or you can also say, oh, I like the way your content looks, but I can take it further.
Yeah, that is true. And I think, you know, maybe nail techs can do the same kind of thing. Like they can, if for example, you don't see an ad that salon is looking for a nail tech, you can just send a resume and say that, hey, I think with my skill set, I will be a great addition to your team.
Yeah, 100%. Like we've had techs do that in the past for sure. They've gone through our pages and they'll reach out and say, hello, I'm a technician. My name is this. I have this amount of experience. I'm experienced in this, that, and the other. I feel like I would be a good fit because I'm really into designs. I see that you do a lot of designs.
Yep, I agree with you on that. Do you think there's any like age group difference when people are the older ones and the younger ones are applying for a job? Do they communicate differently? Do they approach differently, or you don't notice the difference?
I would say older generations typically remain a little bit more professional, and that's just because they just have more professional experience.
Yeah. I know they've been through some other jobs. They had experience applying for a job.
Yeah, they have a lot more time in the industry as well.
Yeah, and the new ones who are coming out fresh of school, they have no clue what to talk about, and especially if they've never had any other job.
Yeah, and unfortunately sometimes they're not taken seriously, which sucks, but over time you kind of learn how it needs to be.
Do you think there is anything that like the beauty industry in whole can do to prepare candidates better, if we're talking specifically for nail technicians?
I think it can be talked about a little bit more in nail school. It could be introduced to them, and they can kind of introduce how to at least build a resume, or how you can kind of show off your experience and show your confidence at an interview, or just how to carry yourself overall in like professional environments, because at the end of the day, salon environments are professionals as well.
Yep. I went to 2 schools for nail tech license, for nail instructor license, and not one school taught. We did not have a class where someone will prepare us to apply for a job. And it sucks because like I'm gonna be a nail instructor, and technically with a nail instructor license, you can work only at the nail school teaching a class. But I don't even know how to apply for the nail school to be a teacher there, because no one like taught me. And what if I don't have any experience?
Or even finding openings too. Like schools should definitely help with that as well. Like, for example, having like a job board, or even like a link on their site or a page on their site with local job opportunities for their students, just to help their students out as well.
Yep. Oh my God. The schools do better. And I'm not joking. See me laughing. Do you have any funny stories or awkward stories from the experience that you have through hiring or like communicating with the people who are applying for the job?
Honestly, the most awkward is just when the candidate doesn't introduce themselves, whether it's over email or in person. And in person, I can understand a little bit more, just because there's a lot of nerves there. You may be coming in, and as soon as you see the person, you just completely forget everything and you panic. It happens, like you can kind of see it from that point. And in person, I can kind of also like feel out how you are feeling, how you are presenting yourself in a way. So I can kind of like help guide the conversation a little bit. Over text, it's a little bit more awkward because you can't really sense the emotion or like the energy they're coming at you with. So like you don't really know if they're joking, you don't know if they're serious, and it's just very awkward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like when I'm nervous, I'll be throwing jokes on top of jokes. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like that's not a good thing to show when I'm introducing myself. So yeah. I also think that not every salon actually has a person who's hiring and like knows how to hire. Because I'm thinking about myself when I just started. When a person will come in for an interview, that person is nervous, I am nervous, and the conversation is just like not going.
Yeah, it's just awkward and quiet, and both people are nervous. Yeah. It's definitely hard. But I feel like once we started doing interviews together, I feel like that helped us a lot too.
Yeah. And I also love that we do group interviews. Like that saves so much time.
Yes. I don't know if other businesses have tried group interviews, because it's very popular in corporations, I've noticed, specifically like retail or maybe even food, where they will do group interviews. But I feel like in the beauty industry, it's never thought of in a way. And a lot of times we would have a lot of people not show up to interviews. So a whole day or even multiple days would go to waste. And that is so frustrating. And group interviews kind of also allow a little bit more comfortable for candidates.
I think so too. But also, I'm thinking if I'd be a nail tech, like that's my competition. She may got the job, and I may not got the job.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
So
I never
just do
thought
your
about it.
best
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Just have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, demonstrate your skill. That's what you're there for the interview for.
We had cases when there were multiple candidates, and we liked both, and we were ready to hire both. So, like, that's always a chance.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely just about how you can present yourself. And it's hard sometimes because you're nervous. It's a new person, you've never met them. And that's why it can be kind of nice to introduce yourself over email or over DM and talk a little bit too, just to get that comfort. Ask your questions ahead of time. Like, if you have any questions while you're applying, feel free to ask those then. You don't necessarily have to wait for the interview in order to ask all the questions that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think for people who are looking for like part-time jobs, that'd be nice for them to ask ahead of time about the schedule that the company offers.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for part-time.
Yeah, especially if they have like schedule restrictions too, just so it's like a fit for them and they're not wasting their time interviewing. Interviewing
Absolutely.
is a whole long process for the candidate as well.
Yep. Because like it takes a couple days to come in, and then we talk. And sometimes I had cases when we would talk through the whole thing, and at the end, oh, well, I can't work this and this days or this and this hours, and I need someone for full time.
Yeah.
So we just wasted 2 hours of this interview and also 3-4 days of prepping for this. Yeah. I think like communication in general should be in there, like in everywhere.
Yeah. People try. Some people know how to communicate. Some people don't,
Yeah. I wish there were like a class at every school to teach people communicate and to teach people to, when you can't show up to the interview, just let people know. Don't ghost.
It's professional courtesy, It is taught sometimes in school. Sometimes schools have those resources available for their students. Sometimes they don't. For example, I was taught in school professional etiquette, email etiquette. When I went to university, we had a career center that would help us build our resumes.
So cool.
Yeah, and they would have like job boards and stuff too. So that's always nice. Like, use your community as a resource as well.
Yeah.
Because that's available to you.
I cannot believe I don't use a lot of stuff too, so yeah, probably that's okay. With this kind of talk, the goal is for the future nail techs or receptionists to get an idea how to apply for the job. Because sending just a message that I want to work at your company, I don't think we're going to hire you because you didn't even say your name.
Yeah.
And the IG name over there, I don't even know if it's your real name or not, because we can put there whatever we want.
Yeah, 100%.
For those who are looking to change the industry, like they were working at a bakery, at a daycare, at a school, maybe a teacher, and for some reason they lost their job, they want to have some job. They saw an opening for a receptionist. Some people have jobs, would they qualify for that or not? Do you think there's any like restrictions or something?
Not necessarily. For a receptionist, I would say the most important qualities to have is customer service, being organized, and being able to communicate well, and having that professional etiquette, that email etiquette, being able to write out emails and messages in a professional manner. That's very important. But you can gain that kind of experience almost in any customer service role. So I would just look through the qualifications that the job post is requiring of you and see what your previous experience matches with it. And you should be building your resume for that position to match a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not that you're necessarily lying. You're picking what you have experience in and matching it to what they're looking for. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
I know, right? Because like sometimes people, I understand that the person worked at the daycare, but you don't have to put in your resume things like you know how to handle kids, because I don't need that at this position.
Yeah.
Like you can rephrase it, like you can handle stress situations, for example, right?
Yeah. Or high-paced environment, fast-paced environments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone who is looking for a job and they don't have a resume, or maybe it's very outdated, or they don't know what to put it, do you have any ideas, any suggestions for people who are creating the resumes?
Yeah, I would recommend to first look over your current resume if you have one and see if you feel like it needs any adjusting. If you don't have a resume, you can start fresh, but I would recommend looking up a resume template on Google. And I would recommend looking up videos or even just guidelines on Google or YouTube how to build a proper resume. It shouldn't be longer than a page, because the more detailed it gets, the less it gets looked at. If it's a 3-page resume, 9 times out of 10, they only read the first page. There's like thousands of applicants sometimes.
Absolutely,
You know?
yes.
And sometimes companies use AI to weed
Filter.
out, the applicants that aren't qualified. And do you know how they do that? They will put in the keywords that they put on their qualifications.
Yeah.
So that is why it's important to match those qualifications and use kind of similar verbiage so that you get an interview, right?
Absolutely. If you're applying to a bigger company, the more thought you should put into your resumes.
Yes, 100%, because the less likely you are to be seen.
Absolutely. What do you think about the potential employees who are ghosting you? Like the person came to the interview and everything went well. We like the person. The person says she likes the environment and everything. And then the next day, I'm sending an email that we're so happy you came over to the interview. You're a great candidate for this position. We would like to hire you. And they don't reply.
Honestly, it's a little bit disappointing in that moment, because you get your hopes up a lot. You get really excited because you feel like this person is a great match for the brand. You had a great conversation with them at the interview, and you kind of felt like you were maybe on the same page. I feel like maybe sometimes people are having a hard time opening up as to what they want, maybe like asking for things, whether it comes to salary or it comes to just things in the work environment, like what people need. Maybe people have a hard time asking, or maybe they just found a different position and they're no longer looking and they don't want to give that professional courtesy. Maybe they didn't see the email, it happens. It's disappointing, but what can you do, right?
That is true. That is true. I honestly don't like that. Yeah. Like, we both spent the time to meet and talk. I would appreciate if you send me a message or email, anything like, hey, thank you for your offer. Unfortunately, this is not working out for me. Like, I'm not going to go after you and tell you why.
Yeah, 100%.
Why you did not like.
Yeah.
Was I bad?
Yeah. It's just nice to give like that heads up. It's that professional courtesy. For example, like not showing up to an interview too, like giving
That's
that heads
a whole
up.
topic. Like people be not showing up to interview, not letting know people they're not going to show up. Why are you wasting everyone's time and yours too?
What can you do? It happens. Different people, different personalities, right?
Would you hire a person who is not replying to your messages in time? So like a person applied for the job, you reply to them the next business day, and it takes them to reply to you back 3-4 days. We're talking business days, not even like regular days, right? And then the person replies, you like the resume, we made for the interview, absolutely love it. We send this person the next day the email that you hired, amazing candidate. And it takes 2 days for this person to reply back to you that, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so happy to come in. And then you send them an email that would you be able to come in for the training this day, this time? And it takes this person 2 days, 3 days to reply back to you if she's available or not. So it's just like takes too long to reply. Would you hire someone like that?
It would really just depend on the candidate, probably. It would depend on the overall, how the interview went and their qualifications, and were they on time to the interview, for example, right? Because what does this demonstrate? Like, are you going to be on time to work, basically? But I would want to take the, what is it called, initiative to switch to maybe like a different media, because just with email, I feel like things are slower. That's where I wanted to go with that.
Very good.
Or were you referring to any media, not just email?
Email.
I feel like people are really bad with emails nowadays. It's like not as common. Like, I think it's common in corporate, but it's not common in other places. And
okay, I understand a nail technician can do that. That's artistic person. If it's a receptionist,
receptionist.
you coming in to work kind of corporate thing.
Yeah, receptionists, probably you're right. That makes sense. Because with a receptionist, you're expected to also reply to emails and messages to clients. So if you can't reply for when you are looking for a job, that kind of shows a little bit of irresponsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the people who are running late to the interviews? Like different cases. Like, what if I'm running late? Should I let you know, or I can just like, I'll come in, like no problem? Or how long the running late is appropriate for the interviews?
I think you should never be late to an interview, because
yes, agree.
That is one thing that each employer is checking to see. And
absolutely. We have a whole spreadsheet with the points, and we are marking it. So when you're late to interview, we mark that you were late. And if the other candidate has the same qualifications as you have, but you were late, we are most likely going to hire the other one.
Yeah, 100%, because it shows how timely you can be to work.
Absolutely.
And I think you should, if you are running late, it is okay. Just give notice. Just say, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm running late. I hit traffic because of an accident, or, things happen. We are people too. We understand that. I think it's more about the notice than necessarily about the timeliness too.
Yep, absolutely.
But also how much time is also.
Yes. Are you running 5 minutes late, or are you running 2 hours late?
Yeah.
Or my favorite ones. They don't show up to the interview, but then they send you an email that, can I still come in?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of cases when a person comes in for a job, and actually it doesn't matter. They can be a receptionist or it can be a nail tech. And I find it weird because a person comes in and we do a whole presentation about the company, the values, and all these beautiful things about us, what we offer and everything. And then we ask a person, how did they find out about us? How did they find out about the open position? What do they know about the company? And sometimes people say that, you're a nail salon. And like, that's all.
Or I found you on Indeed. Okay, why do you want to work here though?
Do you know anything about us? Or my favorite, when the nail techs come and say, when it's time to present themselves, they go, my name is whatever, I specialize in acrylic nails. Very good. Very good for you. But we just wasted this 30 minutes because we don't specialize in acrylic surfaces.
Yeah, and we're looking for someone who's experienced in gel.
Do you think people can just do that, or it is better to do research?
I think it's very important to do your research.
How would you do research?
That's a good question. I would probably look for their site first, their website. If they don't have a website, Instagram or some kind of social media, maybe if you can't find a site or social media, then run the other way. There should at least be a website. So I would look for the website and kind of just look through their website, see what I can find about them. Typically, each business has an about page, kind of research through there, or even just call them and ask them directly. You know, you should kind of be a little bit curious about where you're going to work. You're going to be spending some time there. You should like it a little bit at least.
Absolutely. And I can understand also when people are applying for a job and they send a beautiful resume and everything's great via email conversation, and this person asks where you're located. Like, hello, what are we doing here?
Yeah, you should have found that information before you applied. Why are you applying if you don't even know if it's close to you? Or, like, that's so strange. I don't know. It's like backwards.
Exactly.
I don't know. Some people, I guess, don't care. I don't know.
When I was applying for a job at Salon, I Googled the name, and then whatever I could find on Google, I found the website. I saw all the services they provide. I read everything that was on the website. And then I also went to the social media, checked that out. And then I did an inquiry. I just went straight into the salon and said, hi, are you hiring for any nail technicians? Which I feel like it's still a good choice to apply for. Maybe not for everyone and not all the time, because it's hit or miss. Sometimes you can walk in and like the person who's responsible for hiring will be there and will give you all the information and maybe even talk with you that day. But sometimes you can walk in and that person is not there, and like the front desk or the other team members, they don't know much about the hiring process, and do we even need someone right now?
I think it's great to show up, because even if the hiring manager or the owner isn't there, you should have your resume with you in hand, and you will just leave your resume in person.
Exactly.
And the owner or the hiring manager will know that you came in person and will reach out to you to invite you for an interview, because you put in that effort.
Absolutely. It shows that you're really interested.
Yeah, 100%. And that's awesome.
Absolutely. I hope there will be local people from Chicago who will be watching this or listening to this, and they will take into consideration everything we've talked about. Just to sum up. So if you're applying for a position at a salon, either it's a reception or a nail technician, or maybe even a whole different beauty path, hair salon, spa, whatever it is, it's pretty much very similar. Have your resume ready. Make sure you put in your resume appropriate qualifications. Attach the pictures of your work if you are a technician. And don't run late to the interview. If something happened out of your control, let know the company that you will be running a little bit late. Put some effort on doing your research. Search the website, the Google, maybe even the reviews, maybe even the price list, so you will have an idea what this business does and do you want to be a part of this business. Maybe their values don't align with your values. That is very important too. And show up to the interview.
At least if you want the job.
Yes. And if you decide to not go to the interview, or you change your mind, or you accept another offer, be professional and let the company know that you will pass at this time. Time is very, very, very valuable. So please, let's not waste each other's time. Marta, thank you so much for coming, for joining me today. I feel like the conversation was amazing.
Thank you.
Bye guys, don't forget to subscribe, share this video or audio with your friends, tag us on your social media. We'll be very happy to hear your thoughts in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything we said today.